and a Golden Angel Award ceremony.
Hello, dear friends, my lovely audience. Welcome to the East West Show. Jack Chow is hosting, exclusively sponsored by Wolfers. Wolfers, the Belgian royal family designated brand of jewelries with 400 years of glorious history and hand-forged by 10 generations of the master craftsman. That stands for a testimony for the spectacular and a share of the royal glory. That brings us to the show. With me today is my good friend, Mr. Chris Nibby, a producer, director, screenwriter, anything of the film industry in Hollywood. His name is so big that he has a monument of 21 films, a series of films for his credit. So, and also in the meantime, he is a political commentator, and he and I, we enjoy lots of common ground from the humanity point of view. Dear sir, that said, welcome to the show. Ayamaya. Good. That's a standard Chinese, understood by everybody.
Right.
All right, good. All right, I understand that today we are touching a very serious subject, which really gets to my nerve, and which has been my subject for at least the past 3-4 years. That is the homelessness. How much do you know about LA as a county, the homeless problems?
The numbers which are being said are about 60,000 homeless.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's more, but it doesn't matter. One is already too many.
Mm-hmm.
And there's an interesting connection between evictions and homelessness.
Mm-hmm.
Because people who there have been 600,000 eviction proceedings in Los Angeles in between 2010 and 2018.
Mm-hmm.
That does not mean that these are official evictions going through court. For every court eviction, there are 2 which are settled privately. But the result is nevertheless the same, because families who cannot pay their rent anymore are have to leave, and eventually end up on the street.
Mm-hmm.
So why the government has done or is trying to stop it?
I'd rather recommend we slow down a little bit.
Yes.
We first, let's see the total size of the pie. All right. To bring everybody a full understanding of our overall picture. And then we go into deeper layer to find out the factors that cause the problem. And on top of that, we go another layer deeper to find out, are we doing our job reducing the numbers, or are we doing nothing, or even are we adding up the numbers by what we're doing? What you started with is the fact that we are, instead of reducing the number, we're adding up.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, now, first, do you know how big the whole population is?
They say 60,000. I think it's much more.
Mm-hmm.
But that's my guess. But it doesn't matter, because 1 is already too many in a country like
that's
America.
That's a good philosophy. In the countries such as the United States, which claim to be number 1, which is claimed to be America first, right? Which claim to be military so strong that we can conquer anything, any land, any people, we can do anything, which I agree. Go ahead, do it, right? However, at home, we have the problem so big that not only can't we take care of it, we, the American average people, feel slam on the face on a day-to-day basis. Right.
And mind you, we are only talking about Los Angeles, but the homeless problems is epidemic throughout the nation.
Yeah,
From
you're right.
New York
You're
to
right.
Seattle to Miami to Houston, Texas.
You're right. You're right.
This is just a small portion of it. And I heard that in Seattle, it is so bad that the homeless are, Seattle is a smaller town, they're in the center of the town, having tents all over, tent city.
In Las Vegas, right? They call it underground city because underground there's the pipelines, right? The network of the pipelines. In dry season, the pipelines are dried out, so there is everything. It's another world there underground of the flourishing Las Vegas, where you see all the wealth, where you see all the gold flow like water into, but underneath you see this. It is something you can't take it for granted, all right? And my dear friends, my personal study of the homeless subject started in 2010. And then by 2016, I had enhanced my work. I found out there were 46,000 altogether. And in the second year, which is 17th, the number increased to 56. Right? Luckily, due to some efforts with downtown Los Angeles, with Mayor Garcetti as a city mayor, and with the efforts of Los Angeles County, as a county, the number was reduced to 42, 45 something. And now the number is coming back in 2019, yet 2019 has just another half remain. So this is a serious problem. So do the numbers shock you?
Yes. They may be even, I assume that they are less than they reflect reality. Because if you look at it, there are homeless everywhere.
I agree. And I myself had some experience with them because during the early days I was fumbling on the street with a camera, with a recorder, and I did talk to quite a few of them, right? It is not that everybody was a druggie, was a problematic or problem maker. No, there are some highly educated people there. I once came across a guy who played violin, and he played for me, and very good. I can tell you, he is a violinist for sure. And I asked him why he lost his job, right? He lost his job because his kind of problems, obstacles in life, never able to get back on his own feet. And then, like a domino falling pattern, things go after another, going from worse to worse, until he found out, all of a sudden he says, I found myself on the street. Those are the things. So, do you agree?
Terrifying. Really terrifying. And yes, I agree with you. Not all of them are dropouts, drug addicts, or I'm surprised that a lot of them are veterans.
Yeah.
And
thank God. Okay, we need a handshake. You mentioned that.
And I thought
that hurts me a lot.
And I thought the American government takes care of their veterans. At least they claim all the time.
Ought to be that way. Has to be that way, right? That's why last week, I was having this interview with the Mayor Pro Tem of El Monte. And I did say very highly, by giving a very high comment about what El Monte has done. They built the homeless veteran home for homeless veterans. What a beautiful word combination. I cried. I said, okay, sometimes you put the potato and the tomato together, they belong to the same category. But you put homeless and veteran together, you make a joke of yourself. Do you agree with that?
Yeah.
Yeah. For a country, anything else of that nature in other countries you found?
In other countries? No.
I mean the homeless veteran, or veteran homeless.
No. Because number one, military service, like in my country, in Germany, is on a short-term basis, and there are very few veterans, and those veterans are very well taken care of, because I'm proud to say that my country is a socialist country, and we take care of those people who are in need and don't let them fall by the wayside as it is in America.
Okay, anyway, I don't think capitalism can do nothing to take care of its own veteran. Whatever system is a veteran is a veteran. Well, the fact that they are called veterans is because they once put their lives in the line for you. They deserve, right? They deserve. When they come back all of a sudden, out of job, fiance gone, wife gone, houses gone, everything gone, of course they suffer a lot. And then next thing they see, they find themselves on the street, no job, no money, no nothing, right? And in the worst scenario, they became drug addicted, which is a problem. It is a problem. I agree. But had them been better off, would they touch drugs?
No.
You agree? That's a very humane understanding, isn't it?
Yes.
All right, my dear friends, we started this discussion with a loss of emotion. I know at least I'm on the emotional side. I believe that's something we can't take anymore. I like his quote, even one is too many, yet we have 60,000. Let's take a moment out. We will be right back.
Everything. We have to continue to work on it now. My name is Paul James. I host the news every morning.
And a Golden Angel Award ceremony.
Hello, dear friends, my lovely audiences, my dear fellow Americans. Welcome back to the serious discussion about our homeless program with the East-West Show, exclusively sponsored by Wolfers, the Belgian royal family named designated brand name of jewelries that has a history of 400 years, hand forged by 10 generations of the master craftsmen. That brings us back to the show. With me today is my dear friend. Respectfully, I call him my brother, because I do feel the fact that he and I, we kind of like reflect each other with the mindset on this issue, this very humane issue, right? If you have a heart that pumps blood, you must feel pain whenever this subject is mentioned. Do you agree with me?
Yes.
That's a basic, am I right?
Yeah, and you see the problem is, Jack, that in Los Angeles, the rents, like in many other places, are just too high. There are hundreds of thousands of people who spend more than 30% of their income on rent.
Yeah,
That's a lot.
which is a fact.
But there are an estimated 600,000 residents of Los Angeles who spend about 90% of their income on rent, and this is outrageous.
Yeah, because they make that only much.
Yes.
They make only that much, put
Yes.
it that way.
And there is a devastating connection between evictions, lack of tenant protection, and homelessness. And you know, it's easy to blame it on I'd say a government do something. I think it's the rental economy which has gone out of.
Now that you mentioned the rent, right?
Yeah.
Rent control versus rent increase.
Right.
I have a bigger story to tell. I can even start with myself. Our apartment, I rent. I hate buying a house whatsoever. I rent all my life. I enjoy renting, right? However, lately I feel kind of sad, right? Between the year before to last year, there was an increase of 9%. And from last year to this year, there was another increase of 14%. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? Okay, now, I call the county of Los Angeles, I call the state of California, I call the city level, all right? The answer was that they are the landlord, right? They have the right to do what they believe is right. As for laws whatsoever, go to hell. Nobody cares about laws. There is no such laws.
That's over 20% increase in 2
2 years, right? 2 years.
Unbelievable.
Now, to my surprise, to everybody's surprise, that in the state of beautiful California, so creative that we can create laws such as the third bathroom. You know that law, right?
No.
You don't know that law?
No.
Okay. A boy or a girl go to their relevant bathrooms, right? You feel that I'm not a boy, I'm a girl. You can go to girls' bathroom. So the law says, let's make the third bathroom, right? So this is called the third bathroom law.
For those who don't know who they are.
Yeah, for those who don't know who they are. And for those who on Monday, Wednesday, Friday know they're a boy, on Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, they are a girl though, so they deserve the third bathroom. I'm saying, in the state that is so creative that we can even create such laws, why can't we doing something with the rent control?
Simple as I'm
To reduce the number of homeless.
Yeah.
Am I right?
Absolutely.
Now I call rent control. In Los Angeles, County of Los Angeles, there is a rent control program. However, it applied only 12 cities.
And there are 70, right?
Out of 88.
88.
88 cities, that law applies to only 12 cities. Other cities, it's totally free. It's a free country. You can do anything. And on the third aspect, last year at the poll, when the election time, right? There was one bill, there was one measure talking about rent control, right? They created the difference, the class difference, the class conflicts between the tenant class and the owner class, the division between them, make it even bigger. So they asked them to vote. Should we have rent control or not? Rather than making a bill, making a law, say, let's do the rent control. All right? You see the difference? On the third bathroom, they say, let's have a third bathroom. LGBT. Now you add QIA and the ... 3 dots to the end, because there is always people claim who never know which sex they belong. So the laws are kind of in the open end. With an open end, they're making laws that everybody, every minute. How can they do it? And then now, when it was only time to do it, they put it on the ballot. Saying,
and what happened?
You vote. Okay, they vote said no rent control because there are more landlords than tenants.
Who go to vote?
Of course, all right, of course. Right? Of course. The landlords have the time, the mind, everything to vote. The renters, the tenants have to work to make the money to pay the rent, so they didn't vote.
I mean, I know your apartment, and it's not exactly high luxury.
Reasonable.
Reasonable. And it's unbelievable that you had a 20% increase in 2 years.
914 altogether. All right? So that's an increase. And yet there is no way to.
And you have been there for many years.
Of course.
How long?
Lucky, I'm making enough to cover that.
Yes.
I'm making more, and well, my salary increases faster than the rent increase. I'm only lucky one.
There are not
I'm
too
the very
many.
few lucky ones. There are many. There are not many of me.
You know, for a normal average family, it is now absolute necessary that the wife is also working. There must be two incomes. Otherwise, they cannot sustain a simple family life in this country.
Exactly. On my last show, before my last show, I did my homework. On my homework of that show, it says, when asked what caused you to go homeless, one-third, the answer was the rent was too high. I couldn't pay the rent.
That's very sad.
All right, now you were saying, we're talking about the numbers being increasing, all right? Who increased the number? Who is the one increasing the number? Ourselves.
Yeah.
All right.
Society. Society is creating too much, not only too much garbage, but also too much human garbage. And that's what it is. Because society is brutally exploiting those less fortunate. If you have something, you know, some are fortunate and they have a good job, have something which is in need and get paid, but the majority of people now are in service industries where they are paid very little, and as I said, many of them have two jobs. For example, I speak with a lot with Hispanic people who are major low income workers in this city, and there's none of them in the families where not wife and husband work full time. And even they have problems to pay the food bill. And then, of course, you see, it is also a sort of a vicious cycle, because the food is expensive, so you cannot buy high-class food, so you buy cheap food.
Okay,
cheap
let's
food makes you sick.
Yeah, let's take a short moment now. We will be right back.
Everything we have to continue to work on it now. My name is Paul James. I host English News here in
And a Golden Angel Award ceremony.
Hello, dear friends, my lovely folks, dear brothers, sisters, my dear fellow Californians. Welcome back to the show, Jack Chow, on the East West Show. Today we're talking about homeless, the subject of homeless. With me is my good friend, Mr. Chris Neby, a political commentator and filmmaker. Why would a filmmaker pick up a subject with me talking about homelessness, right? To lots of people, they think, oh yeah, you're talking about homelessness? Okay. They have in the bottom of their mind, at the bottom of their mind though, they believe there's miles away from themselves. Mm-hmm. That's none of my business. I don't care. Huh? I don't care. None of my business. Because you are talking about those men and women on the street without a home. Mm-hmm. I have a home, beautiful home, right? But may not be the thing.
Can change very quickly.
It is changing quickly.
Yeah.
You could someday be one, right? So with the story I give you, with the 20% within 2 years though. So you're talking about within another 2 years, you probably could be driven out.
Yes. And you know, it's interesting. I mean, Jack, it's not only America. Mm-hmm. There is, you see, also in the socialist countries of Europe, like in Germany, we also have people who live on the street. Mm-hmm. But most of these people live on the street because they like that lifestyle. There is a social net which enables them not to live on the street, but they like to live on the street. So that's a difference. You have that in France too. It's known in Paris, but it's a different kind, because here it's utter desperation which drives you on the street. It's not a lifestyle.
I'm glad you mentioned that. Here, to this subject, there is exactly such a comment, saying that don't care about them, that's their lifestyle. They choose to be that way.
No.
They like to live that way.
No.
No. That's what they say.
Yeah.
That's what they say. Lots of people take as a take. Say it is them, it is their lifestyle they want to change. Right. And to that, Orange County Register did a survey. They found out about 1/3 of them say, no, it's not our lifestyle.
No.
It is that, okay, why? Why they started the belief of that is their lifestyle is because some of the guys refused the coupon, hotel coupon. They do hotel coupons to show their benevolence, to the homeless people. Okay, here's a coupon for 3 days, here's a coupon for 1 week, or something like that.
No, that doesn't change.
Some of the homeless guys, no, I don't want it.
And they're right.
I don't want it. Why? What they wanted is a total relief.
A permanent solution.
Permanent relief. It's not 3 days, 5 days, 1 week, or something, no. And on the other hand, they say, this is my spot, right? And they are kind of like gregarious. And they name the spot, right? Recognize spot to themselves. Okay? If I go to a hotel for 3 days, when I come back, I lose my spot.
Yeah. Makes a lot of sense.
Makes a lot of sense. So that's why they stay there instead of getting the vouchers. So they the public mistakenly taking that as their lifestyle. So Orange County Register has found it the way I explained to you. Thank God, right?
It's very sad, actually, because you see that handing out hotel vouchers sort of also is for normal society a very nice excuse to say, look, we did something. But it's very superficial. It's not what is needed. The core is also, the whole core is that there must be rent control, number one. And the whole core is also that the so-called booming economy is not that kind of booming, because it's also the homelessness is also associated with joblessness. It's a very vicious cycle.
Obviously, or I say at the least, those folks confuse themselves with the peripatetic and the nomad. Though those are two different things. Peripatetic is that those, for example, those Egyptians with the guitar, they go walk on the street, they enjoy that kind of life. Today, east of town, tomorrow, south of town. They choose to be that way. That's the peripatetic.
Yeah.
Now what I'm talking about is nomad. They have no home at all. They have no land, no nothing in their name at all. That's kind of people.
And no income. Because if I have a guitar,
yes, of course,
and play on the corner, I make money. Because people will give me money, cash. So it's
that make a lifestyle.
It's a social problem, which eventually will get so big that you see, it's American capitalism does no longer work. It doesn't work. We have to have what we have in Europe, and what we are attempting in Europe. We have that European type of socialism, which takes care of people who fall through the safety nets which exist, but who are then being caught up, and they don't fall into total desperation, because actually, you know, homelessness is also a terrible state of humanity. Just think about it.
If you're saying people choose socialism or capitalism by choice, I agree, right? If people choose to go homeless by choice, I will never agree.
No.
You want to get my agreement? Go across my dead body.
Yeah.
Right? I will never do it. I will never think that they choose to be homeless, to choose to live on the street.
No.
No. All right? Okay. And some of the cases are somewhere in their life, something happened. Like, say, somebody died. A loved one passed away, right? The emotional loss was so big, the guy kind of like was knocked off on the ground. And for example, 1 week. Without a job, without income, 1 week. Well, when he comes back, though, there's no more job for him. And then he went from bad to worse. And then to worse, to worse, and to worse. Go on and on and on and on.
Yeah, it's a system. You know, it has to change, and we have tried to do that. You can't be giving judgment or the right treatment to everybody. There will always be problems, but there is a general motivation in this, in Europe, in the European socialist system, where we realize, accept, and consider those problems and try to solve them in a humane way.
Yes. I believe socialism is capable of handling that, and capitalism too, or maybe more capable of handling that.
Yeah.
Right? You were talking about, after all, I'll give you an example. The total population of Los Angeles County, you know how much?
Los Angeles County or city?
Los Angeles County.
20, no?
11 million.
Or 11 million.
11 million, all right? So 60,000 versus 11 million, you're talking about 0.5%, a little more, something like that. Okay, now, with the wealth of 100%, to take care of a problem of 0.5%.
It's nothing.
Easy like that.
Right.
Right?
But the will is not there.
However, nobody is, all right. Thank you very much. You gave me the answer. There is no will of doing that. Everybody used that subject as a topic.
Yes, and
as a topic to do their political shows. All right? Jack Chow, mayor of XYZ, is emphasizing the homeless issue. And next day, I'm gone. I'm only using the homeless issue for my image as mayor of XYZ. That is our problem, my brother. My lovely audiences, dear ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, I really try to be honest with you because I'm an honest guy. You can see the size of my heart, exactly the same my chest. Anyway, I want to bet with you. Nobody really wants to take care of the problem. Otherwise, 11 million versus 0.5%. Not even a problem, right? By reaching. Okay, my dear friends, let's take a short moment now. When we come back, we will continue to find out how eviction help worsen the situation. All right?
Everything we have to continue to work on now. My name is Paul James. I host this news every morning.
And a golden angel award ceremony.
Hello, dear friends, my lovely audiences. Welcome back to the show of East West, exclusively sponsored by Wolfers, the Belgian royal family designated brand of jewelry that has 400 years of history, glorious history, and hand-forged by 10 generations of master craftsmen. That stands for a spectacular, testimony to the spectacular and a share of the royal glory. My dear friends, today we're talking about something just to the contrary. We're talking about homeless problems. Homeless have been a problem for so long, and I really wonder how come. What by the most extent is the essential factor or factors that cause the problem to remain so strong. With me, my dear friend Chris Nimi, I'm sorry, I can't help being emotional whenever such a subject is mentioned, right? Mr. Chris Nimi and I together, we peel the onion layer by layer to get to the core. We found out at the end of the day, you're talking about 11 million as a total population versus a population of 0.5% with problems. Anybody, a dollar a day, a penny a day, for example, would have that problem resolved, right? So, welcome back, my dear friend, right? We mentioned that in the very beginning, I want you to slow down because eviction is only one of the factors. Can you tell me how eviction helped worsen the situation, please?
Yes, there are, between 2010 and 2018, there have been over 600,000 legal evictions in Los Angeles. But for one legal one, there are 2 or 3 non-legal ones which are privately arranged where the people just leave because there's no use. So, you see, if you would have a rent control system, and that wouldn't happen. And there need to be laws, and as you said before, that the law was there for vote, and of course the landlords went to vote and the general public didn't. So you cannot go because you have you built an apartment building 50 years ago, which has been paid off long time since. You cannot just at your leisure raise rent because you feel like it. And okay, today, and in your case, 9%, tomorrow 14%, and it goes on like this. I mean, okay. Because renting...
I'm not faking it. I'm telling you the truth.
I know. So, because the renter is the weaker piece in the chain. And the landlord is exploiting the renter, and obviously somebody rents who cannot buy
the society has created such conflict classes.
Right.
All right? Mm-hmm. They are forever conflicting.
Yeah.
Now, the landlords as a class, as one side of the story, wants to make as much money as possible, which is understood. And on the left-hand side, the renters, the tenants, however hard they are working, they make only this XYZ. Right. They already struggle at the 1/3 level, right? What if someday you're talking about 50%? They want 50% of money out of them, or maybe 60%, 70%, 80%, 90%, or they want the whole money. This is a human too. Now, the solution is government. Government, instead of putting up subsidies to resolve the problem, right? They support the court system with the eviction programs. Hey, they whip them out with the whip of laws. So once they're out straight, the property returned to landlords, and their job's done. And then next thing you see, there's one more homeless people out on the street.
Not only a homeless person, but families.
Oh yes,
children.
Their wives, their children.
Yeah, and I mean, this also, of course, tears apart the fabric of communities, of society.
I'm asking you to give me a favor.
Yeah.
Do me a favor, all right? Without naming me as a socialist or capitalist, do you agree with me that the government should get a hand into it?
Absolutely, because it requires a humane solution. Because I'm a landlord, I cannot just go because I built an apartment
Of course.
building 50 years ago, which is long paid off, and now I use this apartment building because as a landlord you also have a social function and a social responsibility. What are you doing with this poverty-stricken Latino family who is trying hard to survive, and you just tell them next month you have to pay 10% more? That is for them the kiss of death. You see, it's a humane thing. So it's not only a business. Being a landlord, and I must tell you, I have always refused to be a landlord. And when I came to America, at that time, there was very cheap to buy apartment buildings. And people told me, why don't you buy an apartment building? I said, I cannot rent. Because, I would feel that these people are dependent on me.
You can't be a landlord.
I can't be a landlord.
Yeah, you can't be a landlord.
No.
Oh, okay. Anyway, by that said, though, I'm not saying that a landlord is bad. I'm talking.
No.
They're good folks too.
Yes.
And they have good reason to, with their investment, to make reasonable money.
Right.
At a situation when the price index goes up, right, and it is somebody efforts, be the government, get involved, right. Speaking of government, why I stick this whole thing to government? It is the government, nobody else but the government's problem to do so, because we have lots of money. We have XYZ amount of money, right? Take the money to Israel, for example, right? Take the money for any of the waste, for examples. We would have been able to resolve the problem long time ago.
Oh, yeah.
Not now. Do you agree with me?
Oh, yeah.
So
just take the immense cost of the military-industrial complex, which is, globalization means we want to have peace and harmony. It's not for war. So, I mean, there's a military-industrial complex where America is one of the biggest country as far as military expense goes. It's absolutely ridiculous. Especially it becomes ridiculous in relationship to homelessness. There's money being wasted, billions, and actually I'm sure that the homeless issue could be solved in Los Angeles with a very reasonable amount, because all you would have to do on state-owned land, build sort of houses, apartments where people can come in and go out when their life changes, and if it doesn't change, they can stay there rent-free.
Look, we are a system with, number one, grant money.
Yeah.
Right? Number two, campaign money. Mm-hmm. Each year campaign, for example, you're talking about hundreds of millions of dollars each candidate. Right? And we're a system of lobbying monies.
And how?
Right? So we have all these three major money that's spent for almost nothing, man. Right? Why can't we take a little piece of it to resolve the problem forever? Right? Like in El Monte, right? They build the 142 units for their homeless veterans, and they are putting up another one for low-income families. I give them a salute.
Yeah.
I give them both thumbs up. They are not a rich city.
No.
They are not, but they are doing the grassroots job.
Did you speak with Jerry Velasco?
Yeah, Jerry Velasco.
Jerry is an old friend of mine.
Jerry Velasco and the former council member J. Gomez and city assistant manager Alma. I spoke to several of the city leaders, and I found out they deserve my salute.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Now, after all, do you know when Los Angeles County do the rent control with the 12 cities? Do you know the percentage?
3%.
3%.
Yeah.
3%.
Which is okay, but I still fail to see any kind of rent increase over, like, for example, I believe if I come and rent a place for 5 years and it's $1,000, it should be $1,000 for these 5 years each month. If after 5 years I wish to continue, the landlord can and should renegotiate the rent with me. If we now want to have $1,500 for the same place, I have the choice to move. But I think a mandatory 3% is also not right. I think anything mandatory in the rent business is wrong.
The simple answer is that you can move if you don't like it, right?
Right.
But the fact is that with the law existing, with the government assisting them, supporting them, everybody is raising the price.
Automatically.
Raising their rent automatically, though. Where else to find a place to go? You can't. And the only place to go is go homeless. By that, you're adding up one more. So, instead of resolving the problem, we are adding up.
Yeah.
We produce homeless instead of reducing. Do you agree with me?
Yes.
All right. Today, as you can see from the title of the show, we are producing homeless. At the time when I was writing the title of the show today, I hesitated a little bit, but right now, upon finishing, I knew I did the right thing because we really are producing the homeless problem. To wrap it up, do you have any other resolutions?
Yes, I think you see that in general, mankind needs to have a new look at our society. You cannot have, we are celebrating people who have $300 billion. They're being celebrated. Jeff Bezos of Amazon, $300 billion, is being divorced. His wife, $300 million. This is ridiculous. I have nothing against getting rich. It's nice to have money. But I think in this country, there has to be a rejuvenation of reality. Reality cannot be that you are celebrating people because they have hundreds of billions of dollars.
You look at the media today, cross-line.
Right.
There's propaganda about wealth.
Yeah.
Almost every day.
Right.
Right. Have you ever seen a call, let's do something to homeless?
No.
No. Right. That's why when Joe Biden, the former vice president, who is now running for the presidential election, though, everybody has a slogan, right?
Yeah.
You know what his slogan is?
No.
Restore the morale.
Yeah, that's true.
Restore American morale.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about.
All right. A little over time, but we're okay. I believe Jonathan, my dear editor, can do a great job by cutting me off, keeping him there. All right, my dear friend, thank you for watching. And, we will be talking about homeless problem again. That's not the finishing. And we need to over and over and over again bring this issue a really true issue. Thank you for watching, my dear friend. And to Chris, thank you very much.
谢谢你，老朋友。
Thank you.